The good thing is that there's a lot of democracy in the way music is made, and artists are doing their job these days. So I feel that it's a very vibrant culture, and therefore there are so many different languages here.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and a special hi to all the freedom lovers and music lovers. This is Mahi from Radio City 91.1. And as you guys are aware, we have the artist of the month, none other than Aabha. That is what we tend to say in Canada. When we see something beautiful, we also have equally beautiful, a beautiful lady with us. She's, just to give you a small description about what she's all about, she's a songwriter, she's a composer, she is a fabulous singer. I've been following her from a couple of years as well. And with respect to this, all the folk lovers out there, she is in a lot of folk stuffs and folk fusions, guzzles and Bollywood folk. I have with me none other than Aabha Hanjura. Hey Aabha, what's up? And welcome to 91.1 Radio City.
Hi Mahi, such a sweet introduction first of all. So thank you so much. Full khushi hai in Kannada.
The introduction was really sweet is what you said, but I have to tell you, your music is equally sweet and we love having your music.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mahi. So sweet of you. Thanks.
As I talk about folk songs, there are a lot of things I need to discuss with you.
Right.
Folk is a different and a very unique genre what we have, and these days in this modern world, people are more deviated towards rest of the music, like the Bollywood songs and rest of the songs, which is a known fact. Even in this point of time, you are promoting the folk songs and you are at the same time building your personality as a folk singer. So how's this journey all the way taken you through? How did it even start?
I feel folk music is people's music, and it has always existed and it will always exist. It will always be relevant to people because it's their own music. So it never ever will lose its charm. For me also, I was handed down folk just like it is to others as well. But because I'm an artist and I found that pursuit within myself to pursue music, and I feel like I have a very folksy voice, I have a folksy way of composing.
Gotcha.
So I was naturally bent towards folk. And also I feel like it tells very simple stories. And which is the best thing about folk. It's talking about very simple everyday things, which appeals to me as an artist. It appeals to me as a person. And that's what I try to bring in my music as well. I'm trying to keep it simple.
Like I said, folk itself is a unique genre.
Right.
With being very precise and being very specific, how unique is Kashmiri folk with respect to the other folk forms what we have? Let's go ahead with the uniqueness of the Kashmiri folk.
So, folk itself is so different in India in different parts of the country. But with Kashmir, what is really unique is its Sufiana culture and influence into the folk music as well. With respect to the instrumentation that you see in Kashmir, it's very, very, very unique. And that is what had actually inspired my first album. Instruments like the rabab, the Kashmiri sarangi, the Kashmiri tumbak nari, matka. All of this is part of the sazina which is played, in Kashmir. So this is all Kashmir's very authentic saz. Rabab is the father of the sarod. These are, of course, instruments, and all of that has come. It's got a very heavy Persian influence, of course, into this thing. But that really forms the sound of the valley, I feel, in a way, and that is why I had really brought it into my music as well. And with Sound of Kashmir, which is my first album, when you hear the instruments, I have fused the rabab, the sarangi, the santoor, which is all very native Kashmiri instruments, into my music, and merged them with very modern day genres and eclectic arrangements to make it very fresh and new, and take that sound to an international level. That's what I wanted to do. That was my whole aim with Sound of Kashmir, which was my first album, with songs like Hukus Bukus, Roshwalla, where these instruments are married with a very unique new sound which you haven't really heard before. So that was very exciting, and I think it got a great response also. People also loved it, and some of those songs have done really well.
So that is how you keep the Kashmiri music alive and intact in all your music productions, right?
Right.
And again, you said you also have a band and a team.
Right.
So whatever recordings you do, it's gonna be a live recording, or like how's it?
We do live recordings only
Gotcha.
for my music. Whatever you would have heard till now, I have a very organic sound.
Mm-hmm.
So because I'm doing folk fusion music, I believe the instrument should be earthy and real, not really coming out of synthesizer. Again, you can do that for some kind of music, but with the first album, that was not the approach that I wanted to take.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to keep it very earthy and organic. So everything you've heard is live, from the rabab to santoor to guitars to drums, everything. So what was and Sophistication is the band that I have formed, and it's a Bangalore-based band. We've been performing live over the last 7-8 years, and it's been very successful and great journey. It's a marriage of very different. It's a confluence of cultures. It's coming together of various influences to make one unique sound.
Gotcha.
That is what is offered in Sophistication folk sessions, but in a very unplugged fashion. It's
Fantastic.
half of what our sound is like, but it's a very teamed, turned down version, a stripped down version of the kind of music that we do.
And how's this, folk music scenes when it comes to independent artists and independent music?
It's actually great because I feel folk itself, as a genre, has so much more to offer
Mm-hmm.
with different languages. See, India is a diverse country and it's got rich heritage. I think our beauty is in the diversity of our cultures. It's many countries in one country. That's how we
Yeah,
are, right?
yeah.
We are so different. Every 500 kilometers, the language changes, the food changes, the people change, their clothes change, the way they talk changes, everything changes. So I feel that it's a very vibrant culture, and therefore there are so many different languages here. And people in Marathi folk is so different, then
Mm-hmm.
Kannada folk is so different, and Malayalam folk is so different. Rajasthani folk is completely different. Punjabi, everything merges, and I really find that very exciting. And to me, it's very raw, it's very earthy, it's very me. So I love folk music because of that reason.
And we also know that evolution is evident. Yeah, it happens. We
Right.
evolve not only with music but with all the other facts of life. How do you feel the evolution of independent music has been in the couple of years? Maybe around down the line 3-4 years.
I feel like it's grown a lot, but there's a long way to go.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a real recognition for music, and good music and good talent. It finds its audience. I've always believed that.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the end of the day, the good thing is that there's a lot of democracy in the way music is made, and artists are doing their job these days. They're not really focused on labels, they're focused on themselves, and that's how it should be. And the scene is kind of developing around the artists who are doing great
Mm-hmm.
work in different genres, in folk, in independent, in alternative, in electronic, in rock, in different, in acoustic singer songwriters. Amazing stuff is coming out in India. So it's a matter of time that the audience is also becoming bigger, and I think people are really smart. They want good music today. They don't really care whether it's coming from a film or it's coming from an individual. That all they want is a good song. So a good song is a good song. It's a good song, I believe. And I'm happy that at the end of the day, people have also started to realize that demarcations exist. For me, also as a consumer of music, I will listen to a great Bollywood song from A.R. Rahman because I love his music. I love Amit Trivedi's music. I love Ajay Atul's music. Those guys are making great, phenomenal Bollywood music as well.
Absolutely.
But I will also listen to an alternative artist because I love that music. So music is not limited to these things. I feel that we should remove these boundaries from our minds. And just because you're doing independent music doesn't mean you look down upon Bollywood, and Bollywood shouldn't look down upon this scene. We can all coexist. I feel.
Yeah, we have to indeed. And again in life, the why factor plays a major role. Everything comes up with a why. Why,
Right.
why? And now you have chosen your part as an independent artist. Why independent artist?
Because I wanted to be the master of my own storytelling. I knew that I wanted some control over the kind of music that I'm doing. And I knew that what I was doing was it's in its own space.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started doing Kashmiri folk music, which is what I started with,
Gotcha.
I was like at the bottom of the surface. There was nobody who was even nobody was doing Kashmiri music. It wasn't represented in the mainstream. So I saw that as a big challenge and as
Mm-hmm.
a big purpose. And that drove me. And even though there was no precedent, no nothing, I was throwing my hands around the water and trying to learn this, that, and everything, about it.
Beautiful.
So today, of course, there are so many artists who are doing such great work, but when it started, there was very little. So I feel like uh, when you want to do things like that, when you're driven by challenges like that, you've got to be someone who will take your own path. So that's why I think independent music happened to me.
When we have a destination, sometimes with respect to the conditions what we have, for example, let us consider the example of Bangalore.
Right.
You travel to a destination and you find the traffic is huge and it's very tough and it's terrific. We tend to take U-turns in life.
Yeah.
So now you are moving towards your journey of music. You were moving towards your journey of music as well. Was there any point wherein you had to take a U-turn or
Yeah.
had to drop it?
No, I think not a U-turn, just a lot of lefts and rights. But which is actually also like something that you have, which will go on with this, whether it is with the kinds of songs that I'm writing. I keep going into different directions. Initially it used to scare me. I used to wonder that, oh my god, why am I in, like, okay, I'm getting this kind of a song also, like, because I believe the songs come to you, you don't write songs.
Yeah, yeah,
I believe that this is a God's gift, it's not on you that you will do it. I feel like I'm a medium through which art flows. I am an artist because I feel like it's my purpose. I have to catalyze some happiness into the world, some, this thing, and I feel grateful to God for that opportunity. So, in a way, like, I used to think that, okay, I'm writing a song which is about, something extremely, extremely deep. But people know Hocus Pocus. So will they look at that and say that, why is Aabha doing this song? But then I was like, you know what? That's me defeating my own purpose. I keep hitting myself on the head and reminding myself that don't fall into that, because just after Hocus Pocus, I did a completely different song, which was Hocus Pocus was my breakthrough song, which became viral, which was a big hit, went into a big web series, and also in a motion picture, in a film, and all of that. It had all the success that it could get with God's grace, touch wood. But right after that, if I had to just bank on a certain thing, I would have done another song which sounds just like that, which is what record labels do.
Yeah.
But I didn't do that. I went ahead and did a completely different soft ballad called Khan Majkoor, which is a complete departure from that song. And, people weren't expecting that. And that's what keeps me happy as an artist and keeps me going. Because I know that though that didn't become viral, though it didn't become a huge, whatever, but it's slowly growing even today. And I don't look at numbers as a, whatever. I'm not such a number person. But people come to my concerts and they ask for that song, so that means that it did its job. So I feel like those U-turns, those lefts and rights, I will always keep taking in terms of the directions I'm going in as an artist.
And again, Hocus Pocus, it has been one of the masterpieces in Kashmiri folk, no doubt about it. Does that make you nostalgic or things like that?
Yeah, definitely does. It's a song that my dadi used to sing for me. It's stitched with a few rhymes and hymns and some, some of the poetry from Kashmir, which is as old as time. So I think, it's a song that kids have always sung in Kashmir, and it's a song that's been passed on to kids. So I did a very innocent little, take on it. With a fresh new sound, which was meant to make people happy instantly and groove. So happy, nostalgic, groovy. That's what it is all about.
Aabha, we are very curious about your upcoming albums and what genre are you trying to attempt this time?
So folk again, but like I said, folk is always at the center of the things that I do. I really enjoy that. So folk with Punjab, like I said, with Sophistication Folk Sessions, it's a journey. This whole EP, it's going into the northern plains with different kinds of songs in different languages. We are doing Punjabi, we are doing Himachali, we are also doing Dogri for the first time. And it's just really cute, fun songs which are simple, like how storytelling should be. That's why I kept this album unplugged, because I wanted the sound to be very stripped down and just people to focus on the song itself and not so much on the music. So yeah, I hope people like it.
So I'm sure we will get to relish all the various traditions and cultures together in that song.
Right.
Brilliant, Era. And now we have spoken enough about your journey. So I also would like to hear a couple of lines from you from your favorite album, your personal favorite album of yours.
हो कितनी खूबसूरत है, जादू सी इसकी रंगत है, हो कितनी खूबसूरत है, और आही यही हकीकत है, ये दुनिया खूबसूरत है, ये दुनिया खूबसूरत है। अंबर के आंचल में तारों की क्यारी है, उनके उजालों से रोशन ये सारी है। अंबर के आंचल में तारों की क्यारी है, उनके उजालों से रोशन ये सारी है। बंद पिंजरे ये अब तोड़े बिन सोचे, खिड़कियों से झांके ना बाहर निकल के देखे, हो कितनी खूबसूरत है, जादू सी इसकी रंगत है, ये दुनिया खूबसूरत है, और आही यही हकीकत है। वाह वाह ये पोषवर sein, asaften av panvain, वाह वाह ये पोषवर sein, asaften av panvain, कितनी खूबसूरत है, और आही यही हकीकत है।
वंडरफुल यार, वंडरफुल।
जी,
गाने का नाम भी खूबसूरत है, आप भी बहुत खूबसूरती से गा रहे थे और
थैंक
हम
यू
भी
सो
वही
मच।
खूबसूरती से सुन रहे थे आपको। इट इज अमेजिंग।
थैंक यू,
It was a fun-loving session with you,
थैंक यू
and
सो मच, थैंक्स अ
Abha, I have
लॉट।
to tell you, kudos to you, man. Like, you know, wishing you all the very best for all the upcoming projects.
Radio City.